Good morning, everybody here in the room. Good morning to the Center for Spiritual Awareness. Good morning to those of you at home. I'm so glad you're here in this moment, in this now moment, whenever you may be watching this. My name is Reverend Peggy Tillery, and it's time for our meditation. So I just invite you to settle in your chair, find a little comfortable spot, and let's take 3 deep breaths together. And when you feel ready, you can just allow your eyes to close. Just breathe deep all the way down into your belly. Now let's just allow a wave of relaxation to just go over our head, down across our eyes and our forehead, our jaw, our neck and our shoulders, all the way down our chest and our tummy. And just allow those legs to just relax and feel heavy all the way down to our feet. And so we're going to do some grounding today. I've been hearing a lot of people say that they're just feeling a little out of their body, maybe extra emotional. When that happens, it's always good to breathe. It's always good to ground ourselves into the earth. And our chakras, our energy centers, run through the center of our body, starting with the head and behind our eyes, our throat, our heart, and then our lower body, and then exits our body right there in the middle of that pelvic floor. And we can just imagine a cord, a beautiful, pure white cord going down into the earth, through the cement, through the earth, through the shale, through the water, through the sand, through the rock, through the cold, through the heat. And the deeper it goes, the wider that cord gets. Wider and wider, as wide as our body now, going down, down, down. All the way down and anchoring in the center of the earth. Just grounding our energy there. And now if there's anything that we're holding on to that we're ready to let go, maybe a fear or an upset or a thought that keeps going around and around in your head. Maybe you're feeling emotional about something and you're just ready to just ground it into the earth. You can just send it down that grounding cord all the way to the center of the earth. The The earth loves to transform and transmute our energy, loves to ground it into her body. So that we can go out in the world feeling more calm and more peaceful and more focused, more positive, more joyful. As we just continue to release and let go. And let's just sit in this place of grounding, into this place of peace and calm. Let's just sit in the silence. And just keep your focus right behind your eyes. Just allow your focus to go there. And when your thoughts begin to wander, just refocus again. And I'll bring us back into the room when it's time. And now that we've established this grounding cord, we can tap into it whenever we feel the need, whenever we begin to feel a little out of the body. Or maybe we're going into a meeting, we're feeling a little nervous, or we get caught up in our own thoughts, fearful thoughts, anxious thoughts. We can just tap into that cord and ground those feelings deep into the earth and breathe. And drink water and go in nature. So many tools that we have to stay in that peace and calm and clarity and focus. Focusing behind the eyes. You may find that conversations are easier, that procedures at the doctor or the dentist are easier. You can even imagine a room or even a building being grounded into the earth, so that as you walk in grounded, you know that everybody in the room is grounded as well. So that everyone is coming from their best selves, their grounded self. I'm just grateful for these tools. I'm grateful for the power that we have. And so let's just take a moment to just smile and think about the people that are going to be entering the building in just a moment. Just smile to them and see them coming in, feeling the energy in this room. Smile at the people at home, and they can smile at us and greet us with love. And so I just feel so grateful, grateful for each heart in the room today and every week. I give thanks to those who are watching online. I give thanks to the one life, the one creator, the one source of all. And I just ground that deep into my heart. And so it's time to come back in the room now. I just invite you to begin moving. Maybe stretch or wiggle your toes. Take some breaths. And just come fully back into the room. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Good morning, CSA. We were preparing to be a cappella. Which made her laugh because that wasn't going to happen. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. We're going to do some praise songs. Please join us. At the mention of your name, every knee will bow, every tongue confess, then you are God. At the mention of your name, every knee will bow, every tongue confess, then you are God. Spirit, you are God. Oh, oh. 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 At the mention of your name, every knee will bow, every tongue confess that you are God. At the mention of your name, every knee will bow, every tongue confess that you are God. At the mention of your name, every knee will bow, every tongue confess that you are God. At the
morning to David, Jermaine, Barbara, and Maureen. Thanks for joining us.
Not by might, not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. Not by might, not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. Not by might, not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. Not by might, not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. We stand in awe of you. We stand in awe of you. Not by might, not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. Not by might, not by power. Send your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. We stand in awe of you. We stand in awe of you. Oh, not by might, not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. Not by might, not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. Breathe, Spirit, breathe on us. Spirit, breathe, breathe on us. Spirit, breathe on us. Spirit, breathe on us. Not by might, not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God.
Oh, okay, it looks like it's time for us to send our little ones out. And so we like to send them out with song. Please join us.
Spirit loves the little children, all the children of the world. No matter who you are, you're a bright and shining star. Spirit loves the Tell them what? Tell them what?
Loving all the races.
That's what I'm talking about right here. See it
So,
say.
yeah, you know what I need? Help me.
We'll take you there.
I said, come on, y'all. Help me.
We'll take you there.
Can somebody help me?
We'll take you there.
All right, y'all, come on now. Help me.
We'll take you there.
Come on, say,
I will bless the Lord at all times. He's good.
say, I will bless.
I will bless the Lord at all times. He's good.
Yeah. Say, I will bless.
I will bless the Lord at all times. She's good.
Say, I will bless.
I will bless the Lord at all times. She's good.
She's good.
She's good.
So good.
So good.
Real good.
Real good.
Say,
Each and every day of my life, I'll bless the Lord.
Don't you know? No.
that God is good.
Oh, no, no. Stand up. Keep standing if you want to. The presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The presence of the Lord is here. Woo! The presence of the Lord is here. Now prove it. Let's prove it. Here we go. The presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. Woo!
Yeah, now you want to think about the, I don't want to talk about power. Okay, all right. We can talk about the power.
Power of the Lord is here. The power of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The power of the Lord is here. The power of the Lord is
Let's talk about the joy. Yeah.
Talking about joy now, joy. The joy of the Lord is here. The joy of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The joy of the Lord is here. The joy of the Lord is here.
The Spirit. Now we're gonna talk about the Spirit.
The Spirit of the Lord is here. The Spirit of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The Spirit of the Lord is here. The Spirit of the Lord is here.
Okay, so now we're gonna say, I
gonna break it down now. You wanna join with us. Here we go.
Thank you.
I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing right now. I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing right now. I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing right now. I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing right now. I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing right now. I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing right now. I'm gonna feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing right now. I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing right now. The presence of the Lord is here. Welcome, Irene, Rebecca, Janice, Kim, and Sharice for joining us online.
And welcome to all of you. God is good when? I'm so glad you're here in the church this morning. I always like to remind myself what kind of church this is. This is a church with many, many, many beliefs, and they all boil down to these four. The four beliefs are these. Number one is that God is the only power. There's no external evil. There's no external devil. Now, you and I know there's plenty of evil and plenty of devilishness in this world because we have lived it this week. We lived it the week before. Starting in Buffalo and then going to Uvalde, this is a tough time for all of us. And I want to talk a little minute about prayer, because we have been asked to stop saying our thoughts and our prayers are with you. And the people who are asking that for all the right reasons, because we have been saying that too long, as if it's an excuse for us not to do anything else. But I want to say this, let's throw the baby out with the bathwater. Prayer is critically important at this time. Critically. But it's not the only thing we ought to be doing, folks. It's not the only thing we ought to be doing. It's not a political statement to say that 18-year-olds shouldn't have weapons that only soldiers have. We can do both. We can pray and we can act. And I'm hoping that every single person in this room will do that. Not only today, but when it gets time to go to the ballot box. Find out who is doing what and vote your values, whatever those values are. Because I know the people here want life to be precious. And that's a value that we hold dear here. The second belief that we have is that all thought is creative and influential. And as a result of that, we're thoughtful what kind of thinking that we do around here. We don't beat ourselves up. If we have a thought that doesn't work, we simply put in a new thought that does work, and we keep moving on. We're not a shaming tribe. We're not a blaming tribe. We just put in a new thought and keep moving. The third belief that we have is that everything in our experience is either a call for love or an expression of love. None, zip, no exceptions at all. And that gets tough because calls for love can come ugly, they can come clumsy, but if we can return love to them, we can transform that moment and begin to transform the entire planet. The last belief that we have that I hold on to with all of my heart, all of my mind, and all of my soul is that you are whole, perfect, and complete just as you are right this second. There may be some behaviors you want to let go of, some attitudes you want to let go of, but it's so critical that we finally get this, that we are whole, perfect, and complete, and so is every person. If that young 18-year-old had known that he was okay, he wouldn't have made the decisions and the choices that he made. Very important. So knowing that that's the kind of church we're in, I'd like to just welcome any second-time visitors. If you're a second-time visitor, would you just raise your hand because our ushers have a gift for you? All right, Dad back here, so glad you came back. Now, before we get to the first-time visitors, I want to invite Colonel Phil Litz up to present the flowers for Memorial Day. This is simply our way of honoring any soldier who has lost their life in service to our freedom. And we're very grateful and appreciative. And now I'd like to welcome any first-time visitors. If you're a first-time visitor here at CSA, would you raise your hand, because our ushers have a gift for you. Over here, we got a couple over here. Great, come over here.
So glad you came to celebrate Spirit. You are welcome here. We hope this isn't your last time. Anytime you're passing by, you are welcome here. So glad you came. Feel free to worship and celebrate Spirit's name. So glad you came to celebrate Spirit. You are welcome here.
We also welcome Rosemary, Denise, and Sterling.
Hello, my name's Liz Bergeron, and I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. Please join me in reading the Center's mission statement. It's either in your bulletin or on the wall. The Center for Spiritual Awareness is a diverse and caring community in which we share spiritual nourishment and celebrate all paths to God through the principles of science of mind. Today's altar flowers are dedicated to the angels of Buffalo and Uvalde. Today's lobby flowers are from Becca Drumbore, and her note reads, "To the 7 beautiful spiritual beings who spent the past 2 years in practitioner training with me, thank you for teaching me so much. Thank you for being open, your love, and your patience. We did it. We are great practitioners." We are hosting a clothing giveaway with special emphasis on spring and summer clothing next Sunday, June 5th. And today was the last day to bring your gently used clothing. Join yoga instructor Sandy Russi for a yoga basics workshop on Saturday, June 4th at 10 a.m. You can sign up in the lobby. The CSA Adventure Ministry is going kayaking on Lodi Lake Saturday, June 18th at 10 a.m. You can rent a kayak there or bring your own. For more information, flyers and a sign-up sheet are also in the lobby. More setup and serving helpers are needed for Reverend George's retirement party on Saturday, June 11th. Please sign up for that and other jobs. Is there a table? Oh, the table's right over there. And we offer prayer after service here in the front. Please take a seat in the front row, and a practitioner will call for you. Only vaccinated practitioners are offering this service at this time. And now is a good time to please turn off your cell phones.
Thank you. Marina tells me that you can bring clothes all week here to CSA if you want, between 11 and 4 and Friday night, where she'll be getting it all ready. So that's another option for you. I also just want to point out that in your bulletin, you have an invitation to a very sacred event. And that is the event of Reverend Peggy Tillery's ordination. Now, you might be saying, ordination? She's been a minister for how many years? For a couple of years now. Well, in our denomination, you are a licensed minister, and as a licensed minister, you get to do anything. So if she married you, you're still married. You get to do everything that you would do if you were an ordained minister. The ordination is simply kind of like the exclamation point on your license. And CSL, of which we are a part, requires us to be working for at least 2 to 3 years as a licensed minister before they will confer ordination on you. They want to make sure that you're doing a good job and that you're interested and you're committed and that your congregation loves you, which we know everybody loves Reverend Peggy. Yes. So that invitation is available to you. It's a very sweet event. It's Saturday, the 25th of June. So let us fill up the rest of these seats with beings of light that are in our heart this day for whatever reason. Perhaps you know of a soldier who's lost their life. Maybe there's somebody in your heart today who's traveling or not feeling well. Whatever the reason they're in your heart, will you speak their name aloud as I light this memory candle? Eleanor, Emma, Jesus. I light this candle in their name and in the name of peace everywhere. And now it's time to anchor ourselves in prayer and meditation. So as I sound my bowl 3 times, I invite you to allow the tone of this bowl to take you deep into that place where no harm has ever come. Deep into that place where you know and you know you know you are whole, perfect, and complete.
I need to be still. I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When the world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me.
And so as I just allow myself to sink into the love of God, into the arms of peace, just recognizing that that's all that there is. The very power and the presence, the very fabric of life itself is love. is the energy of love. It's in, around, through, and as every single one of us, every single person on the planet, every plant, every mineral, every animal is the expression of one life, one love, one energy, vibration, and consciousness. And I'm just grateful to know that God is all around me, in, around, and through, and expressing as me. Knowing that God is good all the time, in all circumstances, all relationships, all events. Those we consider good and holy, and those that we consider bad and are scary. God is in those events. God is in that relationship. God is in that circumstance. God as love. God as peace and harmony and joy. And so I know that health and healing and wholeness is available to each and every one of us in our bodies, in our minds, in our bank accounts, in our relationships. The vibration of love, the highest vibration there is in everything. It's in every cell. It's in every conversation. It's in every visit to the doctor. It's in every diagnosis. It's in every cell of our bodies itself. And God is good all the time. I know that the unfoldment of our lives, the journey of our lives take us to places high and low, but when you put them all together, it's good. It's for our highest and best good, our evolution, our learning, our growth, our humbleness, our gratitude. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to be able to speak my word on behalf of each person here. I'm grateful to speak my word on behalf of the planet and all life upon her. I'm grateful, holding a sense of peace, holding a sense of wholeness for each and every one. I see it as an outcome. I see it. I see peace. I see a laying down of arms. I see a laying down of words that are only peace and only love and only cooperation. I know that we can manifest that, and I'm grateful, knowing the power that we are, the power that we have, and the support that's all around us. And so I just surrender all my doubts, all my worries, all my fears. I let them go. And in their place, I just anchor myself in love. And let's seal this prayer together by saying, and so it is. Good morning, everybody. My name is Reverend Peggy Tillery, and it's time for our affirmation. So I'm going to read it through once, and then I'll ask you to stand and join me. God is the light that never fails. I have courage for others today, and I have love for one in the mirror. So if you'll stand and join me. God is the light that never fails. I have courage for others today, and I have love for the one in the mirror, and so it is.
Before we get to our sacred reading, we have a sacred announcement to make. We are very fortunate in this church to have several ministers who are very powerful that will be supporting Reverend Rick as he takes over the pastorship of this church. One of them is brand new. One of them is Zola Ferguson. In 2018, Zola began her journey toward hospital chaplaincy. Later that year, she started the chaplaincy program through our denomination, the Centers for Spiritual Living, and completed that program. She continued her pursuit of chaplaincy ministry at Star King School for Ministry and graduated with a master's in social change. How great is that? In collaboration with that degree, she completed her ministry studies at an interfaith seminary in January and became ordained as an interfaith minister and chaplain. Now, she has served as a practitioner here since 2014. But Zola, will you come forward? Now she serves as a staff minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living, and she specializes in grief work and in working with families who are going through any kind of a transition. So use her. She's a fabulous resource for us spiritually here. Zola, we are so proud of you and so glad to have you on staff.
Thank you, Georgia.
Congratulations. God bless you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Rick. Today's sacred reading is from belief.net. On this Memorial Day, I am thankful for the sacrifices so many throughout our history have made, for the men and the women who have made the ultimate sacrifice, and for their families who have had to carry on without them. It is a sacrifice that is easy to forget. For those who have it, freedom is like oxygen. It's something we just have. Many will not understand just how precious either is until there is a risk of it being taken away. There are encroachments being made on our freedoms right now by those who think they know better. This is a conversation for another time. Today, I remember a sacrifice made and a debt I cannot repay. Today, I pray for the Great Spirit to bless the families of those who have lost loved ones while serving our great nation. I pray to bless and comfort the walking wounded who are still with us and bless their families as well. It is also my prayer that we remember their sacrifice and the precious gift of freedom every day, not just once a year or when there is a danger of it being taken away. And so it is.
Good morning. Sorry, I always, we do a lot of churches, and I have to look to someone and say, is it us now? And it is. We're Love Eternal. This is my wife, Shauna, and my name is Jared. And we're going to do a song for you called Forgiveness. And I feel like forgiveness is one of the most difficult and most misunderstood of the spiritual qualities, and also one of the most important. Well, it's time to forgive this humanity, for the sins of humanity. Well, it's time to forgive this humanity. We're just being humanity. Can't forgive the act, but we can forgive the actor. Just a blind sheep roaming around in a pasture. Them I know not what they do. Lord, forgive them when we know not what they do. Can't forgive the act, but we can forgive the actor. Just a blind sheep roaming around in a pasture. Them I know not what they do. Lord, forgive us when we know not what we do. But it's time to forgive.
You forgive
This humanity, yeah, for the sins of humanity. Well, it's time to forgive this humanity, yeah, just being humanity. What if it was forgiveness before instead of after? What if our love was like God's everlasting? What if it was peace even in the face of war? I can't even remember, said what are we fighting for now? Some think there's not enough resources on the planet, but I know Mother will provide. You just got to respect her. Some think there's not enough room in heaven, but 144,000 it is just the beginning. So I take the book of Revelation and rewrite it. And if you believe in evil, then you surely will cite it. And if you search for demons, then demons you will find. But the only demon is the one in our own mind. So I stay with divine peace, divine love, divine trust. Yes, I stay with divine peace, divine love, divine trust. I stay with divine peace, divine love, divine trust. And I know the divine faith in God is a must to transcend, to persevere, have no fear, for only love's voice will I hear. Jah is saying, the Most High is saying, forgive, forgive, forgive. Divine is saying, forgive, forgive, forgive. Jah is saying, forgive. And I'm not talking about us or them, just we, the people of the earth, God's children. Come together now, come together now. I'm never to chanting about no us and them, just we, the people of the earth, God's children. Come together now, come together now. Jah is saying, forgive, forgive, forgive. Divine is saying, forgive, forgive, forgive. Oh, it's been saying, forgive, forgive, forgive. Jah is saying, forgive, forgive, forgive. Jah is saying, forgive. Thank you so much. We love you.
That's love eternal, everyone. Let me just get these chords so that I'm not doing any special dances for you here. The spiritual truth that I'm working with today is the same one that I worked with last week. Love points the way, the law makes it possible. This is a little 2-week series I've been doing. And if you weren't here last week, or for our visitors, let me just say that the kind of love that Ernest Holmes, our founder, was talking about when he penned those words, love points the way, the law makes it possible, what he was talking about is desire. Desire points the way, the law makes it possible. Now, we're in week 2 of reminding ourselves that if we simply would cooperate with Spirit, that we would have our needs met. If we would begin to learn how to cooperate with God's operating system. It's Spirit's good pleasure to give us the keys to the kingdom. But we have to become better at swimming downstream, not upstream. We have to become better at not fighting with God's way of doing things. We have to be saying, you know, I want to make this as an excuse. We can't have any excuses. It's just God's operating system. It's God's laws. They're always at work, whether we're working with them cooperatively or whether we're fighting against them. The spiritual laws are always at work. It kind of reminds me when we don't cooperate with God's operating system. Have you ever tried to kiss or hug a preteen in front of their friends? And they were like, ooh, no, ooh, get away from me. I kind of think that's what we're doing with God. When God's trying to give us the very best in our life, that which we say we want. We've expressed our desires, but then we don't work within that system. I feel like what we're saying, no, we don't want it right now. We can't do that. Last week, we talked about taking 100% responsibility for ourselves. And this week, I want to start talking about helping us to become inverse paranoids. Inverse paranoids. W. Clement Stone, the great metaphysician and businessman and philanthropist, was once described as an inverse paranoid. Instead of believing that the world was plotting to do him harm, he believed the world was plotting to do him good. Instead of seeing every difficult situation as a challenge or a negative, he saw it for what it could be. Something that was meant to enrich him. Something that was meant to help him meet his goals in life, to advance himself. See, we could end so much pain in our life if we could become inverse paranoids. I have friends who were divorced 10 years ago, who are still holding on to that betrayal story, or still holding on to the fact that they feel like they were a failure because their marriage didn't make it through. You know, they say things like, well, I'm the first person in my family to ever get divorced. It's kind of like a reverse pride when you hear people say, I'm the first person in my family to ever graduate from college. It's kind of like the reverse of that. Holding on to our victim stories, our victim consciousness, makes us sickly, and it holds us from moving forward in our life. Becoming an inverse paranoid, believing that every experience in our life is a gift to move us forward. It's medicine. That is medicine that can cure us from any of our victim consciousness. Suddenly, obstacles and negatives are seen not as just another example of the world hates me, I can never catch a break, into opportunities to grow, to change, to succeed in our life. See, if your car suddenly breaks down on a road, instead of imagining a serial killer is coming to get you, start imagining, you know what, I've been wanting more friends. Maybe a new friend is coming to change my tire. Or maybe you want a mate in life. Oh, maybe my new boyfriend or girlfriend is coming to change my tire right now. If your company downsizes you out of a job, chances are that you will find a new job, a dream job that has better pay, better working conditions, has a greater mission that's in tune with who you really are. That's happened to so many people in this church already. Over the last 22 years, I know tens of people who have come to me and said, you know what, I was devastated. I was fired. I was let go. It was humiliating. And I see them a month and a half later and they're on top of the world. Why? Because they got a better job that was more pay and just better for them. If you develop cancer, the possibility exists for that in the process of reorganizing your life for a cure, the process exists that if you're an inverse paranoid, you can begin to see how this is a blessing, how you're going to find more balance in your life, or how maybe this is giving you an opportunity to find out what really means something in your life. The opportunity to become an inverse paranoid is not just for small things. It's for all kinds of things. And I want to share with you a story from this book. This book is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Captain Jerry Coffey was a pilot who was shot down during the Vietnam War. He spent 7 years as a prisoner of war in some of the most hellish conditions known to humankind. He was beaten, became malnourished, and was kept in solitary confinement for years. But if you ask him now how he feels about the experience, he would tell you that it was the most powerful, transformational experience of his life. As he entered his cell for the first time, he realized he would be spending a lot of time alone. He asked himself, how can I use this experience to my advantage? He told me he decided to see it as an opportunity rather than a tragedy, an opportunity to get to know himself better and to get to know God better, the only two beings he'd be spending time with. Captain Coffey spent many hours each day reviewing every interaction he had with everyone in his life. Slowly, he began to see the patterns of what worked and what hadn't worked in his life. Over time, he slowly psychoanalyzed himself. Eventually, he came to totally know himself at the deepest levels. He fully accepted that every aspect of his being developed a profound sense of compassion for himself and of all humanity, and came to fully understand his true nature. As a result, he is one of the most wise, humble, and peaceful men I have ever met. He literally radiates love and spirituality. Though he admits he would never want to have to do it again, he also says he would not trade his experience as a prisoner of war for anything, for it has made him who he is today, a deeply spiritual and happy family man, a successful author, and one of the most inspirational speakers you could have ever hoped for. We have the opportunity to turn these things if we will take the approach that good is not an accident, that everyone and everything shows up in our life for a reason, and that that reason brings enhancement to your life, and you will know peace. I encourage you to get up every morning and give a signal to the universe. I am a inverse paranoid. It will assist us in swimming downstream, in understanding that cooperating with God's laws. Love points the way, the law makes it possible. Another thing to keep in mind as we understand and cooperate with God's laws is the frequency. Frequently, what we want is just outside of our comfort zone. Have you ever noticed that? Is just on the other side of your comfort zone. Think of your comfort zone as a prison that you live in. Largely, it's a self-created prison. It consists of collections of can'ts, must nots, will nots, and other unfounded beliefs you've accumulated about yourself. It's a prison that will keep you stuck from moving forward in your life. Many of you over the years, if you've been with me, you've heard me tell the story of the fleas. It's one of my favorite preaching stories. There is a group of scientists who are standing around a table, and on the table is a little jar, and there are fleas in this jar. There's a cap on the jar. Now, I don't know what they're doing there, but they're deadly looking at the fleas, and they're looking at the fleas. The little fleas jump up. They hit their little flea heads on the top of the jar, and they fall back down. They jump up, hit their little head, fall back down. Jump up, foot, same thing. They do this for about an hour. Then all of a sudden, they take the lid off the jar, and the scientists notice something. The little fleas jump up only as far as the lid used to be. There's no lid anymore. They could jump out of that jar, but they don't. They jump only up to the lid. They have been programmed. You and I, your comfort zone works the same way. You and I have been so conditioned to only go so far in life that if we're going any farther, we're uncomfortable with going any farther. Your comfort zone works the same way as the thermostat in your house. When the temperature in the room approaches the edge of the thermal range, and by the way, it's a thermal range that you chose. You chose to set that thermostat. When the air gets to that point, the thermostat sends an electrical signal to the furnace or the air conditioner. It'll either turn it off or turn it back on. As the temperature in the room begins to change, the electrical signal continues to respond to the changes and keep the temperature within your desired range, the one you already set. Similarly, you have an internal psychological thermostat that regulates the level of your performance in the world. Instead of electrical signals, your internal performance regulator uses discomfort signals to keep you within your desired range. As your behavior or performance begins to approach the edge of your comfort zone, you begin to feel uncomfortable. Sometimes people feel uncomfortable in their head, their stomach, their neck, but somewhere in your body, you will have received a signal. You're about to step outside of your comfort zone. And your body will begin to send signals of mental tension. Jack Canfield said his dad was a manager of salespeople of a cash register company. And his dad would tell him, look, I have two kinds of salesmen. I have a $2,000 salesman and I have a $3,000 salesman. If a salesperson's self-image is $3,000, that's what they're going to set their thermostat to. And so if they make their $3,000 within the first 3 days of the month, they slack off for the rest of the month because they've already met their quota, their goal. They've met where they're comfortable. If it gets to be almost the end of the month and they only have four days till the end of the month and they've only made $1,500, they will work 16 hours a day. They will work weekends. They will do whatever they need to do to reach $3,000 because that's what's in their comfort zone. Now, what if they didn't have that kind of a thermostatic setting for themselves, the $3,000? They could make $3,000 in the first week, $3,000 in the second week, $3,000 in the third week, and so on. But no, we stay within that comfort zone, the one that we've already set for ourselves. You've probably heard that 80% of all lottery winners have gone bankrupt within the first 5 years. Why is that? Because they are out of their comfort zone. Have you ever walked into a clothing store that's more high-end clothing store than you usually go to, and you start feeling a little uncomfortable? It's because you're out of your comfort zone. Of course you belong there. You're a child of God. You belong everywhere. To even think about getting out of your comfort zone, though, you have to feel the fear and do it anyway. Because fear can be scary to get outside of your comfort zone. But as the late, great Bob Proctor says, we come this way but once. We can either tiptoe through life and hope we don't get too bruised, or we can live a full, a complete life achieving our goals and realizing our wildest dream. But to achieve your goal and realize your wildest dream, you have to have first desire, and then you have to walk within God's operating system, which is not to put yourself in a self-induced prison, to give yourself self-induced limits. We come by fear naturally. It was a gift from God. Millions of years ago, fear was our body's way of signaling that we were in danger. It gives us a burst of energy. We needed to run away from saber-toothed tigers years ago, but we don't need to do that anymore because the only saber-toothed tigers that we need to run away from are between our own two ears in our life. They're fears that we made up, and they're fears mostly centered around we don't have what it takes. We're not good enough. My hair is not right. My ass is too big. Whatever it is that we've centered ourselves around. But you have what it takes. Every single person in this room has what it takes. And finally, cooperating with God's delivery system means that we have to do what your mother told you over and over again. Watch your mouth. Just watch your mouth. Research indicates that the average person talks to himself or herself 50,000 times a day. And most often we're talking to ourselves about ourselves in our life. Researchers say that we say things like, I don't like myself, I'm never going to pull this off, I can't dance. We have to transform that inner critic to our inner coach in our life. Because if not, the very best we can limit, at the very best, we're going to limit ourselves. And at the most, we're actually going to kill ourselves off with negative thinking. This is serious stuff. You can actually kill yourself off with negative thinking. So I want to share with you one more story out of this book about that very subject. Maybe. Yeah. Nick Steetzman was a strong, healthy, and ambitious young railroad yardman. He had a reputation as a diligent, hard worker and had a loving wife and 2 children and many friends. One midsummer day, the train crews were informed that he could quit an hour early in honor of the foreman's birthday. While performing one last check on some of the railroad cars, Nick was accidentally locked in a refrigerator boxcar. When he realized that the rest of the workmen had left the site, Nick began to panic. He banged and shouted until his fists were bloody and his voice was hoarse, but no one heard him. With his knowledge of the numbers and the facts, he predicted the temperature to be 0 degrees. Nick thought, if I can't get out, I'll freeze to death in here. Wanting to let his wife and family know exactly what had happened to him, Nick found a knife and began to etch the words on the wooden floor. He wrote, "It's so cold. My body is getting numb. If I could just go to sleep, these may be my last words." The next morning, the crew slid open the heavy doors of the boxcar and found Nick dead. An autopsy revealed that every physical sign of his body indicated he had frozen to death. And yet the refrigeration unit of the car was inoperative, and the temperature inside the car indicated 55 degrees. Nick had killed himself by the power of his own thoughts. You too, if you're not careful, can kill yourself with your limiting thoughts, not all at once like Nick Sitzman did, but little by little, day after day, until you have slowly deadened your natural ability to achieve your dreams. It's so important that we take seriously how powerful our mind is. Canfield says to transform your inner critic to your inner coach, you have to understand core spiritual principles. And one of them is most criticism and self-judgment is motivated by love. Part of you is trying to motivate the rest of you to do something that it thinks is for your own good. We just go about it the wrong way. Much like many of us, our parents did. When you were a toddler, if you ran out into the street, your parents would drag you back. They'd either pop you or they would send you to your room, or they'd say something like, what's wrong with you? What were you thinking? Now, clearly, they did that because they were motivated by love for you. They wanted to keep you alive. But the message never got delivered. The message that I love you never got delivered. And that's what's happening today when we yell at ourselves, when we put ourselves down. We're not getting the message that love is what's motivating these words. We want to make ourselves better, but it's not the way to go. It's not what actually will help you. All of our skill, all of our ills, whether they're social, personal, societal, can be solved if we begin to get to understand that we are God in form. Like I said earlier, if these shooters would understand who they were, they would understand they don't need to do that. That when they kill somebody else, they're killing themselves as well. If we could only get this one thing, because when we know that, we begin to walk in the presence of love. And when we walk in the presence of love, we simply emanate it out to other beings who are on this planet. Let's take this message into prayer. There's only one power. It's the power of love. And when I understand it, when I walk with it, I walk taller, I walk with more compassion, I walk with more forgiveness, I walk with more love. I give thanks for that. I release this word into the law, and together we say, and so it is. Now it is time for our giving. If you will take your gift in your hand and repeat after me, money is God in action. I send it forth to bless and to prosper all who come in contact with it. And so it is. Amen. And welcome Lily, Terry, Joanna, Marcia, Curtis, and Elizabeth.
That was such a potent message. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So on time for my soul, too. Woo! Just saying.
This song is called Love Eternal, and really quickly, we're called Love Eternal. This song is called Love and Understanding. My brain still works. Hallelujah.
Go,
I just wanted to say that it does mention war, and that while I do not support the military-industrial complex, every soldier, every veteran that I have met has been a hero, a brave, loving individual who thought that this was the best thing they can do.
Yeah.
And so I always like to make that distinction that while, again, I can't stand behind these wars, but I can definitely stand behind our troops. Thank you.
So long, nobody know how it begun, but we got a choice to make. We can put down all these weapons of destruction, realize that we got a world at stake. We've been making bombs for so long now. Somebody wants to drop them. And now if we don't keep dropping them, we might just have to start talking. These cultural divides will only be unified with love and understanding. Oh, these cultural divides will only be unified with love and understanding. Unified with love, 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 unified. Can you tell me once again why do these people gotta die? Cause all that propaganda don't stand a chance next to the sound of one single child cry. We've been making bombs for so long now, so somebody wants to drop them. And now if we don't keep dropping them, we might just have to start talking. But these cultural divides will only be unified with love and understanding. Oh, these cultural divides will only be unified with love and understanding. Unified with love, unified with love, unified with love and understanding. Oh, unified with love, unified with love, unified with love. All right, Sam.
Thank you so much. And this band is just absolutely incredible. Every time, sound is incredible here. Message is incredible here. Y'all are incredible here. We feel very home here. Thank you. Aloha.
Okay, beautiful. Love eternal. And they have some jewelry over there. Be sure and help yourself. Thank you, sir. All right, Maestro, I think we're ready.
Think you glad you came. The sun goes down, the stars come down, and all I'm glad you
Are you saying something? Kids, we have something we want you to know. We love you. We're glad you're here. And we're here for you. All right.
My freedom comes
Through.
things of love.
Yes, good. Thank you. All right.
We learned about freedom today.
All right. Learned about freedom today. Teams.
Hello, everybody. So today in teen group, we worked on and we learned how to do the spiritual mind treatment. And today's quote is, "There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now."
That's great. Great. I just want to point somebody else out in the sanctuary today too. As I look at these kids, I realize Mindy is doing such a fabulous job, and she stands on the shoulders. She stands on the shoulders of many people who have made this junior church an awesome place to come on Sunday, not the least of whom is Julie Jenkins Sathy, who is here right now. Julie, stand up. Let us give you some love. Julie and I have had many capers over the years. We decided at one point that we wanted to have some climbing structures for the kids in another church that we had. And right down the street, McDonald's was closing up, and they had these climbing structures out there. So Julie and I decided we would get our wrenches out because we knew they were just going to bulldoze it and go and steal all of the climbing structures. But I think God forgives us. Stand, please. We'll do the benediction. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
It is this thing called life. Life is in my heart. Life is in my mind. Life is in my affairs. I take this life out this day, and I share it with another. So it is. So I am. So we are. Amen.